Following on from our previous 𝐒𝐖𝐻 video, today we're gonna be focusing on a quickfire method of doing some muddy wet bases. For the initial texture itself, this 𝐂𝐻 Terrain's Dark Earth acrylic diorama series 𝐒𝐻_8018 is super, and quite the mouthful to say. This gloopy textured paste is a brush killer, so make sure that you're using some of your older, mankier brushes. Just scoop a bit up and then slap it onto the base. I am using an empty base for this video just to show you what's going on that little bit more clearly. At this stage, I also prodded the brush into the paste to create some shallow looking holes into the texture. And this will be used for some puddles in a moment. I added some Satchel Brown Speed Paint by Army Painter and applied it over the whole texture once it was completely dry. This did two things. Firstly, it darkened down the earth texture to give it more of a natural muddy look, but it also slightly pulled into the recesses, which is what we wanted to create a little bit more depth. And to get some of that shine back once it dried, satin varnish was painted all over the top surface of the base. I wanted a little bit more detail to the earth texture, rather than it looking like a wet cake. So I opted to dry brush a little bit of leather brown using a pretty much dead brush. And this picked out some of the top areas of our lumpy surface. For my evil armies like Mordor and Isengard, I chose to go for a darker looking base rim than my good armies, just to make them stand apart on the battlefield that little bit more. And now let's fill in those holes that we created earlier, and for this, we're going to use this acrylic Puddles by 𝐂𝐻. I quite like this product for small projects just like this. You don't need too much and it's very easy to use. And you can use a brush to poke out any potential air bubbles. I normally leave it for a few hours until it's touch dry, because next we're going to be applying some static grass. Just a few blobs of PVA glue scattered here and there will do, before we will sprinkle on the grass. I just tapped off the excess with a finger and tidied the top surface of the base by using a brush to take off any excess grass that was left in the puddles. I left the majority of the grass fairly flat as I wanted it to look trampled in by the 𝐒𝐻. However, if you did want to add a little bit of height, then you can lightly blow the top area of the base, or you can pick out some of the strands with a brush and make them more upright. One down, 9,999 to go.